name is Diego Sepulveda. I'm the first in my family to graduate from university, UCLA. I'm queer and I'm Latino. My coming out story is really interesting. I think I didn't realize that I was gay until after I graduated high school, so I grew up knowing that I was undocumented. But I think for me, my sexual orientation was something that I had to figure out. I hung out with a lot of girls in high school, but I really didn't put it together until later on in life when I graduated from high school and I started going to college and I saw people expressing themselves and just being free in their own skin. And I thought to myself, well, I'm like that. And then I just started exploring my own being, and from that arose who I am today. And I think for me, my coming out process has been a very blessed one. My parents accepted me 100%, but college was really revolutionary for me. That's when I began talking about the intersectionality of being queer and being undocumented and how both of those things played out. And for me, just learning to come to terms with that was really interesting though, because I remember meeting a boy and I thought he was so cute and he had such an amazing personality. He would tell me, Diego, why don't you drive? Why don't you have a license? And I didn't really know what to say, because here I was expressing my sexuality, right? Like my attraction to him, but then there was a part of me that I couldn't share. I couldn't tell him that I was undocumented, that I couldn't drive because I didn't have a license, and that I didn't have a license because I didn't have a social security, and I didn't have a social security because I was undocumented. So learning to navigate that world was really interesting for me. So here I was trying to be myself and trying to explore my sexuality, but being scared that people wouldn't understand my background and my situation. So I hid a lot of that, but it eventually came out. And there aren't intersections when it comes to identities. So I think the biggest misconception is that if you're undocumented, that's the only thing that you are. Or if you're gay, that's the only thing that you are. But when we look at policy and we look at the state of queer, undocumented individuals, we see that, well, up until just recently in California, you couldn't get married to someone of the same sex. And even if you could and you weren't documented, that person of the same sex couldn't sponsor you for citizenship. So I think addressing that intersectionality is important at the policy and law level, but I think it's important as well at the personal level, right? How growing up undocumented and growing up queer, you live this intersection, you live a double closet, you live behind two closed doors. So you take a step out of one closet, but you might have your foot in the other one. So my smile initially came from a survival mechanism, I believe. Growing up, not understanding my full situation as being undocumented and not understanding me being gay, I think put me in a world where I was in high school, but my mom told me, don't tell anyone that you're undocumented. So I knew I was undocumented, but I couldn't tell people. And for me, that created a sense of shame, and I did really bad in high school. I didn't do my homework, I didn't like going to classes. My teachers would be like, Diego, why aren't you doing your work? The work that you do turn in is really great, but apart from that, you're not really putting any effort into it. And I think for me, just my smile comes from the reality that I've had to survive. Through it all, it's really difficult to go to college but have to work at Subway and McDonald's and take care of your sister because your parents are working in factories, right? It's really difficult to be able to cope with that life, but at the end of the day, there's no other choice to move forward. For me, the importance of Honor 41 is about putting a face to our experiences, putting a voice to who we are, and saying we're here and we're not going anywhere. And it's important for us to tell our stories and where we're coming from, because at the end of the day, people need to hear us, and I think that's the only way we're ever going to be able to change anything. You have to get to the heart, and through the heart, you can do anything. You don't change minds by throwing facts and figures. At least that's not what I believe. I believe that you change minds through the heart.
Hola.